Well, Cowboy Jim here. I hope you're having a good day. Saturday leading up to Christmas. Boy, if you get a chance, you you watch that Christmas in a Hall truck, or I'm not sure whatever it was called. I did a remake of it anyways, but it's kind of interesting. Well, it is interesting, I suppose. I was just outside having my not sabbatical, but I was having my smoke. Not as cold today up here, children, as it has been, and that's kind of a nice thing. I have to do a little driving tomorrow, and I might just try to make a video while I'm doing that. Who knows? Might work. What I don't know about making videos, you could make a video on, I'll just tell you that. And but I had the privilege and the honor of having a couple of job interviews, and what a joy. I almost thought, shoot, 72. Might not mind taking a month off or something. Now, what do you do nowadays? COVID has ripped the heart and the guts out of everyone, and the politicians are standing there repeating talking points. And oh, I so like that little Fauci guy down in the States. One intelligent interviewer must have been from Fox News. He said, because that's about the only interviewers that qualify for that terminology. And they said, well, how does this COVID stuff affect our relationship, shall we say, in the dating game? Fauci said, well, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. And they said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, you're only meeting that person for a few hours. And, shoot. What stupidity. Yep, wear two masks. Meet someone you don't even know where they've been. Hardly who they are. Nowadays, it's sure a world that I don't know anything about. Perhaps that's good. Perhaps that's good. I'm not sure. But anyways, you know, in this life that God has given us to live, we choose many times what we're about to do and going to do, and certainly a plan to implement. We don't always think that much. I don't always ask the Lord, you know, how is this going to work out? How's that going to work out? And I guess if we knew all those answers, we would perhaps make less mistakes. Who knows? Garth Brooks, he sang that song about the dance. And I truly like to dance. Not that, well, you know, I don't know, about 25 years ago, I actually, I think it would be looked upon, I actually dated a lady for a while, and she said, you're the only person I ever knew who could two-step to the Village People. I said, I don't even know who they are. I didn't know. I only knew how to do a two-step, and oh, geez, that's embarrassing. Pretty embarrassing. And, but I do kind of enjoy letting that rhythm, perhaps, that music, that invade my person, and I just love the sensuality of it, the joy of being a part of something that's a whole lot bigger than you yourself are, and I find great joy in that. So tomorrow, the next day, whatever. Oh, geez, I drive downtown and sign the final papers to the ranch that I worked so hard to hold on to. It was so funny, eh? I mean, I worked 6 years, sleeping in my truck or in a tent or in a camp, and worked from rattlesnake country down there in the southeast corner of the province to the joy of being in Rocky Mountain House and no snakes. Yep. Yeah. A dear friend of mine back in Ontario, I met him when he was 18. I was about 24, 25, and his name Dan Kilburn. And Dan, he had a neurological thing kind of like MS, only it was never really diagnosed, and they never really could figure out what it was, and his brother died from it, and Dan, he just taught me what I already knew, because my mom had taught me, don't ever quit, don't ever whine, complain about anything, just smile, do the best you can. And I asked Dan, he had lived in a shack back several miles in muskeg type, swamp type situation, Matheson, Ontario. And a number of times he'd step out the front door and there'd be a bear sitting there looking at him, or a moose walking by, or whatever. And Ontario, they had a lot of rattlers and garter snakes, and oh gee, I don't like snakes. And I said to Dan, I said, well, you're kind of moving into civilization. And he said, yeah. I said, well, your old wood sleeping bag, would you be interested in selling it? I said, they're very hard to find. And I said, I'd sure be interested. And he said, well, you pay the bus. And he said, I'll just give it to you. I don't like that. I don't even want to drink a coffee that someone buys for me. I don't want to become known as someone who takes advantage of other people. I'd like to pay my own way. I don't think it's pride. It could be. I don't know. Probably. And I said, well, Dan, I'd sure be interested in your sleeping bag if you're not going to use it again. He said he couldn't use it. And I said, oh, my brother, that's kind of sad. He said, I'll send it to you. He says, you might have to wash it a bit. And I said, I can take care of that. He said, you know, I used to wake up in the morning, and the first thing I'd do, he said, was make sure there wasn't anything wrapped around my feet. I said, what do you mean, Dan? He said, well, the snakes would come. I guess that's kind of funny. Snakes come out at night. Who was that? Wonderful Charlie Pride. And he said, I would really want to make sure what kind of snake it was, or plural, before I would move my feet very much. And I thought, rattlesnakes, I'm with you, brother. And so he did send me that sleeping bag, and I did really wash it. Let me tell you, oh my. Oh my. I don't like snakes. I don't like abusers either. I don't like people who inflict themselves on others. I don't like people who denigrate for the joy of elevating themselves in some sick way. I don't understand that. Like, I truly don't. But anyways, in this wonderful little home of mine, it's not mine, I rent it. And price ranch sold that. That's about the best that I'm going to be able to do for a little while. Find some cabin in a muskeg swamp somewhere. No snakes in northern Alberta, children. Well, the odd garter maybe, but I'd rather have a bear than a snake too close to me. And, well, I'd kind of rather do without either of them. It's kind of disconcerting. A friend of mine, he said he opened the door one day and there was a black bear that was standing about 6 foot tall on the other side of the door. He had heard something. And he took out his hunting knife and the bear went to grab his arm. And so he put that knife as deeply into that bear as he could, but problem was the knife went through his arm before it got to the bear, and the confusion of the fight. And he said he had actually killed the bear with a hunting knife. And I thought, boy, that would be something to talk about. No one would believe you, but shoot, people don't believe half the stuff I've been through either. So, but I believed him. And I go back to my brother Dan, and I think, he's now 65, and he's been living in a wheelchair for 20 odd years. And I think, we who can sit up and take nourishment and walk. I don't like walking. I like riding a horse or a old Dodge Cummins or a pretty hot little Corvette. I kind of like that. I may actually have enough left that I can pay all my bills and buy a good used Corvette. Kind of like that. My dad said there, I took him for a run in my 71 Corvette in 73, and it was a hardtop convertible. Pulled the hardtop off, and there was a rag top, and I put hooker header side pipes. Well, that wonderful man south of Calgary named McGarry, he builds hot rods. Well, back then, he kept my toy cars running, and he put hooker header side pipes, and you burn your leg trying to get out of those little short Corvettes. But I took my dad for a run one day, and he said, it's just like a wheelbarrow with an engine. I guess it was like that. So we're coming up a little closer to Christmas, and you know how many times I talked to you the last several days saying, could you make a video of yourself? Would you consider just making a video and talk to talk to yourself in that you can see yourself on the screen, and explain to yourself your goals, your aims, your hopes, dreams, and then consider where in this past year, in the past however many years, you could look upon situations as being somewhat, shall we say, a failure in many ways. Don't let failures dictate your hopes, your ambition. Your failures are there to merely tell you about what doesn't work. And when you fail, you just eliminate something that doesn't work, or perhaps you have a chance to see in yourself those areas of change that you must needs do in order to be a little more, shall we say, successful. And it's good to be successful, but it's not good to use that as a benchmark, a measuring gauge of who and what you are. Because who and what you are is determined by your perception of yourself. Scripture, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengtheneth me. Job, I think about the 3rd chapter, he said, the thing I feared has come upon me. I walk somewhere in between those two concepts, and I don't like to fear much. I guess I get intimidated sometimes, but not for long. And if I can understand myself enough, and that's where these videos come in so handy. This is 166 since May 9th. And I almost took the day off today. Only one video. I don't know if I'll do more. I'm not sure. There's a time. There's a time for everything. A season comes out of Ecclesiastes, I'm pretty sure. And time to be happy and time to be a little sad. Not too sad, but a little. So that your perspective, you can see more clearly yourself, your heart, the people around you. And one guy was on Facebook some time ago, last name I lowered, not God, but that actually was his last name. And he said something about, if you can count on one hand the number of friends you've had since your teens, that's quite a lot. And truly, people who love you, who are your friends, not for what you can do for them, but for what they feel laid of their heart, in their heart, perhaps they're gone, about caring for you. I think that gets much, much bigger. And so, as always, I always say, you're going to live till you die. And only you can determine how you're going to be doing the living. And for me, always, that's where, children who have been abused, they have a hard time living as adults because they still fight the influence of that abuse and hurt and sadness. And they are taught not to give of themselves, not to let anyone too close. Don't let anyone too close. It's only if you allow people to get close that you have the potential for heart attachment. And people want a simpler lifestyle. They want that quick McDonald's meal. it's a meal, but there's more to living than just scraping by. There's more to living than working. You work in order for you to live. Understand what it is in your heart that you wish to accomplish. Understand how you hope to get to that place where you can say, "It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul." I pray that it is well with your soul. I pray that you will consider my Lord, my God, my Savior Jesus. Not religion. I don't do religion. I don't like religion. I don't like denomination stuff either. I don't like intolerance. I like that joy of looking into a person's eyes. God taught me how to do that some long time ago. Probably the greatest joy in my life has been to look into one's eyes and not see the bottom. It's only ever happened to me once in my lifetime. I looked. I couldn't see. But I did see. I saw love and peace and joy, self-worth, established truly in a humble sort of way. God bless you. Think about the videos. You're getting close, children. You're getting close. God bless you. God bless you.